also from the Lone Star State. He came in at 228 pounds.
Mike Tyson's in-ring interview might have been a sad sight to watch for many, but his post-fight press conference was even worse. Seeing a 58-year-old Mike Tyson get humiliated and toyed with by Jake Paul wasn't a beautiful sight to behold, and it's something the whole of boxing agreed to after his poor display against the problem child. It was one of those boxing matches where boxing fans feel regretful after watching, the kind of matches where the undercard gets more appreciation than the main event. To the hardcore Mike Tyson fans, Mike Tyson's second exit from boxing was even more miserable than his first, as he lost to the YouTuber-turned-fighter Jake Paul in a dismal heavyweight contest on Friday. The 58-year-old struggled with his movement throughout, and in the final rounds, Paul appeared hesitant to inflict too much damage on the former undisputed world heavyweight champion. "I was trying to hurt him," he insisted in the ring afterwards. Distressingly, Tyson appeared to suggest after his defeat that he could be lured back into the sport in the future. He identified Jake's brother Logan as a potential next opponent. Well, that was during the in-ring interview when reality was yet to set in. The baddest man on the planet got into the dressing room, and when he came out for his post-fight press conference, everything had changed. His statements were way more different than what his interview reflected. Once he settled in the conference room, a journalist asked him how he was feeling, and his response was disheartening. "I feel sore. I feel really sore. I can't feel myself now. I tried to win, but it just didn't work out. It didn't go the way I expected it." Tyson, whose speech has been struggling to find coherence since the final press conference on Wednesday, took a pause and broke down into years, as he admitted he didn't know what the future held. He was also asked about some statements he made in the ring about an injury no one knew about. "Yes, I had an injury, but I can't use that as an excuse," Tyson said after being asked about his knee and the condition of his legs. Iron Mike Tyson said, "Yes, I have a habit of biting my gloves." Tyson adds, "I have a biting fixation." "He's the greatest to ever do it," Paul says in victory. "He's an icon and it's an honor to fight him. He's the toughest man." Tyson, "I'm happy. No, I'm not surprised it went the distance. I knew he was a good fighter. I didn't prove anything to anybody, just to my family."
No, I knew he was a good fighter. I knew he was prepared. I came to fight.
58, a lot of people thought you shouldn't be here. A lot of people thought you'd be done and dusted in the...
The 8-round fight, which was streamed live on Netflix, was scored 80, 72, 79, 73, and 79. 73 in favor of Paul, who is 31 years younger than Tyson. Netflix's first foray into live combat sports, meanwhile, endured some rocky moments, with a number of viewers complaining of streaming and buffering problems before and during the fight. It wasn't only Netflix that buffered, even Iron Mike Tyson buffered. And this was the general complaint after the fight. Irish boxer Michael Conlon said, "I'm just glad Tyson didn't get badly hurt. Credit to him at 58 doing the 8 rounds and making a ton of money, but that should never have happened. I suppose if it makes money, it makes sense. Jake is a smart businessman, no doubt, but that was sad."
I don't think so.
You've got more in you. Comes to mind.
Well, I don't know. Maybe his brother.
You want to fight Logan? Logan?
JJ Watt added, "Mad at myself for staying awake for that. I know better." Tyreek Hill, feeling frustrated, declared, "Mike made me get my Netflix account back for nothing." An annoyed Terrence Crawford tweeted on X, "I love Mike Tyson, but they giving him too much credit. He looked like trash. To train that long and only throw 97 punches the whole fight is crazy. I'm just glad he didn't get hurt out there."
Because yesterday it got pretty personal and heated.
That happens when you're in a fight. You get in the moment.
Hey, that was a good slap. I like that.
ESPN's Stephen A. Smith, who had interviewed Iron Mike Tyson some weeks back, claimed, "Love Mike Tyson, always have, always will, but 58 is 58. Plus the legs just wasn't there. Old is old. Thank God he didn't get knocked out. Now it's time for Jake Paul to get in the ring with a top 10 fighter. Or hell, a champion. No more ball players, strikers from MMA, or old men. It's time for Jake to get into a real fight. He's good enough. Make it happen. The dissatisfied NBA legend Magic Johnson wrote, "You're sad, smach. I cut it off because I couldn't watch anymore. It's sad to see Mike Tyson like this because I went to every Tyson fight. This fight tonight was not great for boxing." Finally, Andre Ward said, "I enjoyed it. It's a powerful thing. I appreciated it for what it was. I didn't expect it to be the old Mike."
The boxer.
He's a very good fighter.
Do you think he deserves respect from the public?
Absolutely.
Hey, that was a good slap. I like that.
I think it's time to call somebody out younger than Mike. A bit more of a threat. Somebody the boxing public can say, "We respect you, even if you lose." "I was trying to hurt him a little bit," Paul says. "I was scared. He was trying to hurt me." Perhaps Mike Tyson didn't understand how shambolic his display was and how disgusting fans perceived it, as he had left the door open for one last dance. "I don't know if it's the last fight. It depends on the situation. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I'll fight his brother." Logan Paul replied, "I'd kill you, Mike." Well, except Mike Tyson has some other fans to watch his fight. If he hopes to get views from the same fans, that might be a very poor turnout.
If you can win it, do I like it? No, because I love Mike Tyson. I'm just concerned about, Tyson's legacy. That's it.
In a fight that had fans torn between disbelief and thrill, Jake Paul came out victorious against Mike Tyson at a Tant Stadium, a result that instantly sparked an avalanche of reactions across the boxing community and beyond.
Time shot there from Jake Paul, and that is what you call a turning point, folks.
The story of this fight wasn't just about a YouTuber turned boxer stepping into the ring with a heavyweight legend, but about all the heated speculation that surrounded it. The age difference, the rumors, the whispered conspiracies. And now the dust has barely settled, but opinions are flying fast, and they're louder than ever. For Eddie Hearn, Paul's victory is bittersweet, a spectacle that he admits was hard to watch without questioning its integrity. "Look, I've been around this sport my whole life," he told the PBD podcast right after the fight. "I didn't think it would happen. Tyson is a legend, sure, but he's 58 years old. This whole thing felt scripted. People love Jake Paul, sure, but they don't see what this means for boxing. This isn't what it should be about." The tension in Hearn's voice isn't just about the fight's outcome. He's riled up because to him, boxing is more than entertainment. It's a legacy sport with a history that shouldn't be tampered with for clout or attention. And then there was Carl Froch, who couldn't agree more. Froch has been talking about this fight from day one, and after watching it play out, he didn't hold back. "Fixed, that's all it was," Froch said bluntly. "We all saw it. Tyson barely threw a punch with any force. Look, if you put Mike Tyson, even at 58, in a ring with someone, you expect him to go for the kill. But that wasn't Tyson out there, not really. I'm sure there was something in that contract keeping Tyson from going all out."
It's a task. It's hard to box at when you're that old, moving around the ring, throwing punches, getting punches thrown at you. But
for Froch, the whole event was frustrating. To him, seeing Tyson, one of the most feared boxers of all time, hold back was almost painful. Tyson is a machine. If he'd been let loose, we all know Jake wouldn't be walking out with a smile. "There's no way," Froch said. He went on to say that, in his opinion, the entire fight was a well-choreographed piece of entertainment rather than a genuine contest. Frank Warren, another prominent promoter, was also quick to chime in after the fight. He didn't hold back, calling the whole event a circus act. For Warren, this wasn't boxing at its best. It was boxing as a spectacle. "This fight should have never happened," he said.
Yes, sir, that's the one.
"Tyson is 58. No 58-year-old should be stepping into a ring, least of all with someone young and agile like Jake Paul. You might as well have watched a train crash in slow motion." But Warren wasn't the only one questioning the ethics and logic behind this fight. Legendary promoter Bob Arum, who's been around since Muhammad Ali's days, was just as blunt. To him, this fight had been doomed from the start. "What are we doing here, letting a guy in his late 50s step into a ring like this?" Arum told SecondsOut.com in the days leading up to the fight, adding that he hoped Mike doesn't get hurt. And now that Tyson has lost, Arum's point feels even stronger. The entire fight for him was a poor reflection of boxing's principles. What makes this win for Paul even more controversial is the question of Tyson's performance, or lack thereof. Fans and critics have pointed out how the fight seemed like it was going through the motions, almost as if Tyson was pulling his punches. For an athlete who once dominated the heavyweight division, Tyson's seeming restraint was confusing. Sure, he landed a few solid jabs, but there was no force, no signature aggression that fans expected. As Frosh mentioned, if Tyson had landed a true left hook, that would have been the end of Jake, but it's like he didn't even try. On the other hand, Jake Paul's supporters see things differently. For them, this win is a massive achievement for Paul, proof that he's truly earned a place in the sport. Even though many critics are quick to dismiss him, Paul's fans believe he's done something unprecedented. He took on a legend, stayed composed, and won. Whether or not Tyson was fighting at full capacity doesn't matter to them. What matters is that Paul showed up and he won. Paul himself, of course, was ecstatic. In the post-fight interview, he couldn't stop smiling. "People said I couldn't do it. They doubted me, but look, here we are," Paul said, addressing the crowd. He took a moment to thank Tyson, calling him a warrior and saying how much he respected the boxing icon. Paul then turned to the critics, the doubters who had questioned his right to step into a ring with a legend. "I'm here to stay," he said with a grin, "and this is just the beginning." Teddy Atlas, who knows Tyson better than most,
Day two, we're getting ready for you.
having trained him during his early years, wasn't shy about sharing his thoughts on the fight and everything leading up to it on his podcast. "This was youth against experience," Atlas said. People tuned in because they wanted to see which one would win out. Atlas has long been critical but respectful of Paul's journey, even giving him credit for his grit. People don't like to admit it, but Jake Paul deserves some credit. He came from YouTube of all places, but he's not here to make a mockery of the sport. He's put in the work and he's smart. He knows how to pick his fights and make it pay off. And after last night's win, Paul has proved just how strategic he can be.
He's of good health. You know, he's 58 years old. You know, not too many guys should be getting in the ring at 58. But
Atlas continues, dissecting what made Paul's performance successful. It's not just about being young, it's about being smart. He didn't rush in. He stayed on the outside, used his jab, kept Tyson guessing. Atlas admires the business side of Paul's journey too, especially with the Netflix deal that brought the fight to millions of screens. Look, this guy knows how to play the game. He's a savvy businessman. He's not disrespecting the sport. He's bringing it to new audiences. And after last night, he's proven he's here to stay. However, Atlas had a few concerns about Tyson's chances right from the start. He wasn't sure Tyson could genuinely keep up with someone 30 years younger. "I said it before, Tyson's only real shot was to end it in the first round," Atlas reflects. "He still has some power in those hands. I saw him hitting the bags, saw him in those clips they put out there, but at 58, he's not the same guy who would bulldoze his way through a fight." Atlas also addressed the persistent rumors about the fight being scripted or fixed. Although he didn't directly accuse anyone, he couldn't shake the feeling that maybe things were more show than sport.
Come on. 61 years. I saw him the other day. I love Tyson. I told him he can punch. Of course, he's got a puncher's chance the first 3 rounds. I'm a little scared of Tyson getting hurt after the 3rd round.
Right.
Jake Paul's a big boy. He's 26 years old. Tyson's 61. I'm happy for Tyson that he's making money and that Tyson's still.
Look, I don't have any evidence that says this was all choreographed like WWE, but you can't blame people for wondering. There's a lot of money at stake here, a lot of eyes on it. It just makes you wonder. Jake Paul went into this fight as the favorite, with the betting line set at minus 220 for him and plus 175 for Tyson. When's the last time you saw Mike Tyson as the underdog? Atlas points out. Those odds alone tell you something. Paul was the favorite and the bookmakers knew what they were doing. It's like seeing a football line that looks too good to be true. They're trying to tell you something. According to Atlas, those odds were no accident. They were carefully crafted by people who understood the dynamics at play.
Family's everything, but my kids, to my children, I'm nobody. But that night they're gonna find out their father's very special.
Meanwhile, legendary heavyweight George Foreman also chimed in with his 2 cents, and he kept it simple. When asked what Paul needed to defeat Tyson, Foreman answered with just 2 words: 1 punch. And as it turns out, that's exactly what happened. Foreman, known for his blunt and sometimes humorous takes, couldn't help but laugh a little. "Be careful with Paul," he had warned. "Paul's got tricks up his sleeve and 1 punch is all it takes."
I'm not getting my bit off on Friday night, so I got my diamond spiked ear covers right there.
All right.
Foreman's insights were both a warning and a compliment. For him, it wasn't about Tyson's legacy or his age. It was about acknowledging that Paul, at the end of the day, is a dangerous fighter in his own way. When Tyson gets hit at his age, it's different. One punch and you start hearing funny noises, Foreman chuckled. But that's the reality. Paul's got time on his side and Tyson has to be careful. Foreman believes that despite the outcome, Tyson needed this excitement in his life. This fight was good for Mike. He needed this, he said. Everyone's talking about it, and that's the magic of Tyson. Win or lose, he's still a name people are drawn to. As the dust settles on Jake Paul's latest victory, the boxing world finds itself at a crossroads. Traditionalists like Atlas may be uncomfortable with the spectacle-driven nature of these fights, but there's no denying their draw. People tuned in, people talked, and now people are debating what it all means for the future of the sport. This isn't going to go away, Atlas concludes, a hint of resignation in his voice. Like it or not, Jake Paul is here to stay, and he's bringing a new kind of audience to boxing. Maybe this isn't the boxing we grew up with, but it's still boxing. And as long as people are buying tickets and watching, we're going to see more of this. Lots of fans and everyone else know that boxing has changed, maybe for good. But for now, it's clear that Jake Paul is steering the ship, and he's taking boxing to places many never expected it to go. What did you think about the fight? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.